Hey there. This is Heather Van Wild with Raindrop Works. Sorry about the fairly short notice and kind of cryptic nature of me starting up this stream. Um, I just I was given some information by a trusted um, comrade of mine that wishes to remain anonymous, and because of some of the technical basis of it, as well as some of the complexities, it felt to me like it was something that was going to be easier for me to explain with actually just showing this instead of trying to um, instead of trying to just do a tweet or something about it. So yeah, the basics to this is, we've had over the weekend, since the shooting of the JFPK and Justice for Amir Locke protests that got attacked Saturday night in Portland. There has been a lot of communication and discussion about the alleged shooter, Benjamin Smith, who has been found out, since he was identified, and theoretically even before. There has been a lot of information coming out about a lot of difficult um, pieces of information, associated with this guy. As the weekend has gone on, we've been hearing stories from people that have had the misfortune of knowing this person in other times in the past, going at least up to a decade in the past, primarily through the furry community. Now, of course, I have publicly admitted, yes, furry. I don't really care who knows. Before I was doing this, I used to wear my ears all the time. But there is, and it's been a subset of the community that we've known about and have tried to deal with as best we can. But there is a side that is alt-right slash Nazi in in its relation. So, to hear that he was a member of this extremist fringe community was mildly surprising, but also not. And there's been a lot of discussion trying to point out that most of us are over here, and this guy is way, this community is way off to the side. That said, I was given some information and was asked to figure out a way to get this out in the public. So we're doing that. This whole thing starts primarily with the Fur Affinity page for Polybun, who is the online handle for Mr. Smith. Now, Fur Affinity is like DeviantArt. It's an art community, but it primarily is tailored to the furry community. There is a lot of adult content and such, and there has been questionable content that this community has had to deal with in the past. But apparently, this person, he hadn't made an account all the way back in 2007, and from what I am being told, the account was recently nuked, about 17, 18 hours ago. I do not have information on a backup of whatever was on this page before that. If somebody had taken an archive, it's not in the Wayback Machine, and I know because I made a copy of what's here now, as you'll soon understand why. To have an account for 15 years and not have any posts and stuff, it does seem like the account was recently scrubbed. And from what I'm hearing, it also seems like if this was a recent scrub, it would have been since he was hospitalized, which suggests that somebody else could have access to the account and is trying to clean up stuff to make getting evidence more difficult. So again, if somebody got screenshots or recorded somewhere on another service, I don't know. I would definitely be open to getting information if somebody does have insight on that. Being message me, DM through any of our media links that we have, as well as on our Twitter. We have our private or our secure email address through Proton Mail. So, if there is information, I definitely would appreciate being able to see what we have. But part of what threw things was these two shoutouts, posts that were made 17 hours ago. So, theoretically, this fits a timeline of sometime right before this. Everything on the account was scrubbed, but then these posts were made. Now, the first one, as you can see, is what looks to be a string of gibberish by user Silas and then user Zenner saying, "I think I saw you on the news." Now, of course, I think I saw you on the news. The username Polybun has gotten out and has been widely reported on because it's the online handle that he was using. But it's this gibberish code or this gibberish text that I wanted to look at. There was questions going around trying to figure out what it was, and a colleague of mine was able to correctly figure out that it was a Base64 encoding. Basically a very lightweight computer cipher. Difficult for a human to crack, but incredibly easy for a computer. To the point that there's a website that I can just take that code, paste it in, and decode from a Base64 format. Let me try to drop this down. There we go. Decode it. And we have this response or this message that was left, a coded message left on the Furfinity platform for Polybun. If it was self-defense, then it's fine. It was no small guess that there were people that have sympathies for this person in light of the shooting. But obviously coded posts from sympathizers is going to be very questionable in and of itself. This also seems to feed into the whole concept or idea of Kyle Rittenhouse defense, where somebody went out of their home, out of their safety zone, and put themselves into a situation where they thought they could claim a fear to themselves and open fire. In Rittenhouse's case, it worked, and he was acquitted of all charges. So so we have this coded message. Definitely worrisome. It was posted by user Silas, which I have not got a chance to dig too far into the account, but this is somebody who apparently has in the past had a desire to make fountain pen barrels for themselves, which you can do with a lathe, a machining tool. The wood version of apparently the kind of work that Mr. Smith was doing. So we're looking at gallery. We have some Fursona stuff, craft pictures, things like that. Nothing too unusual. Now, I should say that I have not actually looked at, and I should probably briefly block this and end screen it because, yeah, there is. Okay. So I'm looking, and yeah, there is a lot of adult content that shows up on Fur Affinity. This actually is pretty generic. Some of the videos I've actually, or some of the pictures is stuff that I've actually seen in my personal stuff. So, nothing that jumps out there aside from the very suspicious post that was made. Yeah, Rule 42. If oh wait, yeah, if it exists, there will be porn of it. Now I just noticed something about Silas here that is going to bug me on a personal level. Character species, snow leopard. When you have a fursona, it's you're basing yourself or your persona on one or more animals. There are some that will do chimeras of different parts of different animals. The snow leopard jumps out to me because, ironically or unironically, my primary one is also a snow leopard. So I'm not something I particularly wanted to see. So anyway, so we have this other person, Zener, taking a look at their page. Actually, not a whole lot here. It seems that recent journal 4 years ago, they've had stuff, posts that they've liked and stuff. From a year, 3 months, 12 days. I suspect somebody may end up wanting to go through later on and look at some of these watchers and watched lists. I keep forgetting where I have the focus because of the screen size. I'm not going to go through the 1,500 profiles here to try to see if I can figure out which ones are problematic, but I do feel like this could give a starting point for somebody to look at some stuff. And of course, this does all tie back to information that was put out by Dr. Vidalia on Twitter over the weekend, which I haven't gone through a lot of it up until now, but it did seem like this was pretty heavily reported on, or at least evaluated over the weekend while we were waiting for Portland Police to actually name the person. We've got a entire chat dump from September 2021 with information talking about how this person wanted Proud Boys to shoot people up. Keeping in mind this was about a month, almost to the day, of when we had the attack by Proud Boy and adjacent groups in Park Rose, of which two of the people um are now getting ready to face charges for their actions. Um, okay, so I've got Jade here in the chat talking about crossed war axes on an avatar. I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm not sure at a glance. Okay. So yeah, I'm just trying to follow here. You're talking about on Silas. Yeah, that's right. That's not how that works. um, Sorry. When you say next screen, I'm not forward and where you've been. I wonder if you're talking about the favorites. Oh, a commenter on Silas. Okay. Yeah, on Silas we only have this one person slow mo. Um, not on Silas. This was on Zener. Okay. Sorry. This Nikomira post. Talking about the cross taxes, and it dawns on me that there's like a full minute or so lag between me talking and y'all seeing, so that's not helping things any. So yeah, 4 months ago, this person let's studying to be an animator at the Moscow University Synergy for first semester. That the and what's kind of sad is I see some of these pictures and it's like I like some of the stuff that I'm seeing and I'm kind of interested in going back and looking, but yeah, it's there is just a lot of possible things to look at. Welcome to Data Dives. Yeah, this is not the kind of thing that I normally do. I don't normally do it in real time. Um, it just I especially with this whole Base64 decoding. I understood what was going on from a technical standpoint just because of my background, but I didn't know um how to elaborate on it. So I'm noticing this Nikomera has had a YouTube page. Um, a second, let me try that again. Oh, I see the problem is there. That was a badly formed URL. A very badly formed. Had to fix it in a couple spots. Yeah. See, like this cat camera picture, I was like, oh, that looks really cute. Apparently, this person is the artist for it. This is from their DeviantArt page. Yeah, so there's um you from Russia. How did you know? The I guess language stuff being used and stuff. So yeah, we've got connections to Russian furries. Normally, I would say big deal, but in light of everything else that's going on, it honestly seems harder. Has anyone checked? Presuming we're using the same username. Oh, okay. This got scrubbed. And my cough was something that is off screen. I need to give a content warning. But yeah, 0 watchers, 448 page views, 0 deviations. But there is definitely a post. And obviously, I am not going to read that post out loud. But February 18th, 2013, you know, I've heard, his former roommate, and that at one time years ago they seemed more leftist than they were. But it really seems like this has been going on for a long, long time. We have, going back to these messages by Dr. Vidalia, we have Orion, a furry raider, which, as Jade pointed out, could be a potential link. Yeah, I apologize for that as well. I'm not usually, the strong language is not something that I usually end up dealing with. A lot of times the stuff that I work with has been sanitized by the time it gets to my desk. So yeah, Dr. Vidalia goes on pointing out anti-Semitism from Polybun, praise of Kyle Rittenhouse, which ties back that it really felt like he was trying to emulate Rittenhouse with the actions that happened. Okay, so yeah, the questions or the explanation about furry raiders and conventions in Foxlore. Let me try to pull up. Where was that? I believe this article here is what's being mentioned in the chat. This is from a website wegotThiscovered.com. An article from September 1st, so the same time that Dr. Vidalia made their post, or rather, I think this was a couple days, like a week after, I think it was. Yeah, 2 weeks after this article came out was when this big post made. Yeah, definitely content warning. I'm going to try to, you know, gloss over in my reading as best I can, but um, there this article starts off talking about that the furry fandom has become a lot more prevalent mainstream than it used to be. Um, Goes on to talk about how back in 2017, Rolling Stone was reporting on potential Nazi problem and issues with those in the community having ties to the alt right. Um, there is a organization, the AWU Association, who had planned to host a convention in a few months called Free for All. It appears to be a very alt right furry convention, pulling a lot of iconography from other far right type leaning organizations, including there was I had seen comments about even the logo here in this picture. They kind of borrowed the Trump lion head. The flag in the background is very evocative of the thin blue line flag. Um, there's mentioning here one of the major minds behind the convention, a Nicole Peace Wolf Reno, who's a conservative libertarian, has had accusations of slurs against black people. Um, the no quarter. It could, you're right. It could be. My understanding is the dark grayscaled U.S. flag is seen by some as a no quarter flag, as in we will not give our enemies any quarter. Men, women, children, get rid of them all. Um, so yeah, this person, um, racial slurs against black people in a chat room, advocating genocide of people like me, allegedly supported highly inappropriate things with animals. Um, Furry Raiders. Here's the reference that Jade was making in the chat. Um, Alt-right furry group led by Lee Foxler Miller, well known for a fursuit that features a Nazi-esque red armband, and whose name is a combination of words for Fox and Hitler. Previously charged with crimes of inappropriate acts against children that were dropped but not found innocent. Heavily documented ties to hate groups, known neo-Nazis in membership. One of the members attended the Charlottesville March where Heather Heyer was killed by a driver. There's incorporated documents, leaked Discord chat logs here. Now, granted, none of the information in this article directly references Polybun or Ben Smith, but these do seem to be the kinds of people that he's been associating with, if not in person, then at least in online forums. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff in this article. I don't really have a need or desire to to go back and read out. I don't think anyone else really wants it either. So, yeah, I guess I didn't have as much to go over as I thought I did originally, but again, the big thing that made me jump was this message by Silas on For Affinity, which easily decodes to, if it was self-defense, then it's fine. You know, if there is a connection, if this is just a, claim self-defense, like claim a Rittenhouse and you'll get out, I don't know that that's going to be as strong a legal strategy as they might think it is. But whatever it is, there are definitely people who are trying to leave coded messages for someone in the hopes that he will see them, even though what we have seen from the charges, the murder charge has a no bail, as well as for the rest of the charges, the traditional bail amount set, because they're all Measure 11 charges, comes up to about $2 million. So I think when we get to bail hearing, I think it is going to be incredibly unlikely that we're going to see him getting out anytime in the near future. I'm just checking. I'm getting some messages from the person that helped me out here with this. While I'm doing that, I do want to say now, obviously, this person does not want to be publicly identified, for a variety of reasons. I have known them for years. They're completely solid. If you do want to, if you do want to send any kind of donations or anything, I am more than willing to pass them along to this person. Just I think to I'm gonna do it this way, for some to be able to say who, that this is for that person. If you comment Base64 with the donation, then I'll know that this is supposed to go to that person, and I'll definitely make sure it gets to them. Because them breaking that this was a Base64 code is, I feel like it's pretty big. Okay, I am getting pointed out to a specific set of posts here. Where was that? Here we go. So these four screenshots of this chat I was supposed to take a look at. Yeah, the context of this was, apparently there was a comedian that got quote unquote canceled for very inappropriate jokes. So there's pictures here, calling us the hateful left. If it wasn't for their bigotry and hostility, there wouldn't be any need to make separate events away from them. And then literally 2 minutes later, it got someone asking, "Is there any good shooting spots near the con?" That bitch needs some therapy. Me too, range therapy. Yeah, someone can make the claim that, oh, we're talking about just going out, shooting some rounds off, and just unwinding, but it's kind of a thin veneer. Um, I have to stop at this picture for a second because there is a lot of anti-mask rhetoric that is going around these exact same groups, and some of it, Mr. Smith had, allegedly directly posted himself. Fursuit heads are incredibly difficult to breathe, than but worse so than the masks that we've had our mask mandates for. So it boggles my brain. Um, and there's some journalist that hunted down a bunch of folks and wrote a hit piece on the con. Reporting is rarely a hit piece. If you're citing sources and bringing facts, that's not. Sounds like the journalist, and they keep quoting journalist, needs to be sued for libel. It's the one hit piece that was outright fraudulent. Conventions do retain lawyers, so if that journalist sees this, you should delete those. It, all these quotes on journalist articles, it's heavily implied code, and I don't like the way that it sounds. Um, Whoever this Roel is, deployed doggo. Some of them are most likely military or military contractor. That's not a good thing. Someone should invite Milo. Wasn't he banned from going to AC for no reason? There is guest of honor. Okay, Milo Yiannopoulos, the right wing speaker. Um, they're kind of throwing him under the bus, saying he was only a furry for 5 minutes to get attention. Um, Besides, it's not really a political con, though. Sort of the point. Um, you can't escape politics, really. Even saying you're not political is a political statement. I will agree with that last part, but this is. I've seen with this stuff. This is definitely pushing. AC being Anthrocon, which is one of the very famous conventions. Honestly, I have not been to any conventions. I have people in my family that have, and I actually don't know yet how they feel about any of this stuff. Um, I'm kind of blanking out now on what to talk about with this, unless anyone wants me to go over and give my evaluation of the court filings from the case that were released earlier tonight. Because, I mean, yeah, I've been on here for a little over a half hour, but I think I've gone over. I have a message coming in from someone. Let me see what they have. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. It looks like I got the information out that I was trying to get out for right now. I am gonna go ahead and drop this down for the night. It is pretty late. There's not a lot of people here now anyway, and It's late. We've had a lot going on. Go ahead and everyone try to get some sleep again. Um, if you want to support the work that we do, we do have from our social media. I didn't get a chance to link it into the video description here. Um, but on our YouTube channel, we do have a link to our link tree, which has all of our donation options. And if you tag a donation with Base64, I will make sure that whatever you donate with that gets sent over to the person that has been helping out so much with getting this information together and helping to get this new stuff out to light. I definitely appreciate y'all sticking with us here. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night.